How you doing? I thought today I would just show you some of the tools that I use very often that are really simple, but they're literally almost every project I use them on. One of them beginning is my headphones. These are creative ones, and I'd love to find a complete over-the-ear one. But the one thing about these smaller ones, they're Bluetooth, so the wire is not in my way, and I can listen to books. If I'm doing a lot of thinking, I change it to music, and I also listen to podcasts. And I might even put on my iPad a movie or something if I'm working right here at the bench. But it does bring down the dBs, and I've measured what they are, and then I've got a thing that goes on my iPad that will tell me, and I can stick the microphone part in there, and it goes down probably around 20. So that's not bad, and I can answer the phone. I can hear when the phone rings, and it just works really, really well. Like I said, I think I'd rather have them over the ear, but on top of the ear, which these are, is nice because when I'm putting on like my main dust mask, my trend dust mask, you know, you got the straps and things that will catch on the bigger ones, I'm sure. So anyway, that's really the first one. I was probably talking loud there because I had those on. The next thing that I use on every job almost is what I call my bench dogs. And what I started with is 4x4s, and these are a foot long, and you just glue some, anti-slip kind of spongy mats on these. But the neat thing is if you start with a 4x4, then you go to 2x4s. So two of these are the same as one of those. So that's handy, and these are a little longer, very handy for other things. I have like about 8 of each one of these. Here's the 4x4 only in kind of a post, so it's a smaller bench dog, and use those. And then these I use all the time, and 2 of these equal 1 of those. And most of it's out of scrap wood that I've had around, or just timbers. So those I use on every single project for one thing or another, and it really helps. I don't know if you've ever, because this has happened to me, been in the middle of a project, got to a point where you're really semi-finished, where you've sanded, got your sanding half done or whatever, and you drop something. And or you're gluing up and you've pre-finished some things and you drop them. So these really help for that. They change that completely. Also, I have shims. I have a gazillion shims. I just brought a few out. These are smaller ones. They're handy for drawers, and I actually got some of these. These are those Simpson Ties, but these are about 1/8 of an inch exactly, and they're all the same. Here's some more that are about half of that, about 1/16, and some longer ones. I use these for drawers all the time too. I've got those, and then I guess I can turn it around here. We'll see if it shows these, but I also have all those up on the second shelf up there. Hopefully you can see that second shelf. All those are shims, and they're different sizes. And, as I go along and I need more, I kind of add some more shims. So, anyway, I use them constantly. And it's amazing the things you use them for. Another thing is, I love these sandpaper holders. These are, they're the, what does it say? Time Saver Tools and Company. I forget what they call these. But anyway, you can get them at Woodcraft and Rockler and places like that. They come in 4 colors: the red, yellow, green, blue, and I've marked them with different grits. I actually have 4 more. I have finishing sizes so that I have them handy. These are handy. In fact, I got the 120, so they only have 4 colors, so I started marking them. But I started with 4 of them. And it's just, I use them constantly. And I made a jig for cutting regular sheets of sandpaper. These, I think, one of these is 1/4 of a sheet of sandpaper. So you just slip it in there, cut them, and I got a pile of them. So if I rip one, and they've got nice thick pads on them, and they're good pads. So I can round corners even with these, and I will do that sometimes on plywood. Every time I cut a piece of plywood, I'll run one of these over, maybe the 100 or 120, and that way I don't get so many splinters in my hand. So those are handy all the time. The next thing is my 12-volt Dewalt tools. I absolutely love these. Number one, they sit up. They don't fall down. So this is a drill, this is a impact, and I'm telling you, this impact is absolutely amazing. I can drive small screws in that really, the impact, it seems like overkill, but what it does is it just kind of jolts it a little bit each turn, rather than trying to twist it all the way in there. So I never strip with these, strip out the screw. And I absolutely love that impact wrench. Use it all the time. And then I've got a couple of the drivers, which are, they're a one-handed driver. You put it out and it goes in with one hand, and so real easy to change your stuff. It's got a little light on it and everything, but the big thing is these 12-volt batteries last forever. I mean, I go sometimes several projects before I start. Maybe the drill might be the one that I end up using more often, because I'll stick a bigger bit in here. And so these, I'm telling you, you will love these if you get them. They're not real heavy, and I started with one, and then I bought the drill, and the impact, I think, was together, and I got them on special prices. After a while, you don't need all the chargers. Well, you go into watch Home Depot or Lowe's, and unfortunately for them, people steal batteries. So then they end up with just a unit, no batteries, and so they have to sell the tool. Now you can buy a lot of the tools without batteries and everything. But anyway, so I've gotten really good deals on a couple of those. And those tools I use almost constantly. And of course, the tools I have on me, of course, I guess you can't go without talking about my apron, which I had made by a friend of mine who does leather work, and these pockets have covers on them, but I'm so used to digging into them that I don't even notice, and I use these little rulers a lot. This is for my iPod. That keeps the dust out of it by having that on there. I don't know why, but this size of Allen wrench I use a lot. I've got some Incra devices that use this, and I've started using the 1/4-inch Allen screws for a lot of my jigs, so I've got this handy all the time. Yeah, I use it constantly. But anyway, of course, there's a ton of other tools I use. I'm a tool lover, as probably all of us are. But these these Cauls. I didn't mention these. I actually have just made some shorter ones, some 12 and 18-inch ones. This is a 2-foot one, but I don't know if you can tell. It's got a bit of a rise, and there's 2 of them. So you put them together, but you put them like this, and most of you have probably seen Cauls like this. You can actually buy them pre-made, and then you squeeze them down together. This is, I went to our local Crosscuts is here in Portland. That's where I am. they have hard maple. It's not real expensive wood, and you just buy a bunch of boards, and you kind of, I forget what angle I made this, but this, what I went by is I made the angles too much before, and gosh, I had to squeeze so tight. It just hurt. So, and I didn't need that. The big thing is I get the same pressure all the way across, and they don't break. So that's my 2 foot. Here's my 3 foot, and then I've got 4 foot, and I've got 3 sets of 4 foot, 3 sets of 3 foot, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 2 foot. I use those a lot. And then, like I said, I made some miniature ones that I got back over here that I use for smaller projects where I just don't want to get a clamp across or have that many clamps on it. I actually use clamps much less when I use these. One of the things I've learned is when I'm putting these on, sometimes the best thing to do is take a clamp and get it in the middle first so it kind of holds these from falling, and then start clamping the ends. But